This video is intended to describe a light disc power pack named Alchemy. On the very bottom right here is a shungite flat round with the flower life engraved into the bottom to be a very powerful sacred geometric platform base for such a high frequency potential device. This right here is a clear quartz pyramid. See better from that angle? Pyramids, of course, have been utilized since time immemorial to be a very powerful energy focus. As the energy runs through the entire circuitry of this device, it focuses through this clear quartz pyramid to make a very sharp radio broadcast, and is a very powerful neutral quartz programmable main engine, if you would, so the rest of this radio energy can run a circuit focus right through this sharper emanation that can actually make a very powerful space clearing radiation through the entire broadcast of this device's vibratory output. And starting with these guys, there's a lot going on here, so it's going to be quite the focus to stay on track with all the different mineral compositions, such a complex, vast power pack. These both right here on both sides of this clear quartz pyramid are golden healer quartz, which are gold white light Christ frequency activators that lines one's template to their higher Christed divine self. And once again, I'll be utilizing my cruise chakra map to make some visual cue references. This right here is seraphinite on both sides of this pyramid, terminated right there. Seraphinite is a very powerful seraphic energy frequency broadcast that produces an entire alignment of the chakra column, as well as imbues the cellular structure with archangel frequency energies, hence it's named seraphim. And it's perhaps one of the more powerful stones in our age to dismantle any kind of patterns of dis-ease of all variants throughout the entire chakra matrix, as well as being another powerful kundalini activator, as well as a wholeness and imbuement of wellness in all fashions of kinds of the green ray focus. Evidently, looking at this device, you see a lot of different green ray compositions, so this would be a very intensively high-yielding green ray heart-focused device. Right here on the 4 points of the corners of the pyramids, if you would, in this diagram, is infinitite. Infinitite is a lovely variety of serpentine that comes from South Africa. Is relatively rare these days, and has been claimed to be a more complementary and beneficial version of serpentine to have more of an angelic frequency. So obviously there'll be a lot of green ray angelic frequencies in this construct. But this guy right here makes a very powerful kundalini activation, as well as it makes a very powerful decrystallization of stagnant patterns that would inhibit the full light body adherence of the rarefied higher self etheric blueprint onto the physical body by making a very powerful purification of those entire patterns of the kundalini channel. And very healing. Also, you can think of it as an etheric energetic insulator that'll further defrazzle the outer emission of the field, so that it makes a very powerful buffering of protection through higher light frequencies. It also, as well as any kind of deficiencies in the auric field, any kind of contusions or shatter points in the entire ignition order of the vibratory sequence of the aura, will be stitched and soldered very quickly under this influence. So in a spatial broadcaster, that would be very useful for anybody in the jurisdiction of the wielder of this device to make a very powerful soothing, healing, and insulation of one's higher heart blueprint, whoever comes in contact with this device. And next to the infinitites, I installed the black, orange, green, and blue kyanites in that order to make a very powerful rapid transfer of this healing energy from the projective and receptive balance of black kyanite grounding all excess energy through the Earth star meridian matrix, orange kyanite making a very powerful stimulation to the higher self sacrum capacity to create from one's highest truth etheric blueprint. The green kyanite to make the transferability, this is actually a very important piece of this device, of the green ray focus even more transferable through the entire projective receptive matrix of the personal wielder of this device, as well as the etheric blueprint or transfer of codes to other recipients under the jurisdiction of the wielder of this device, as well as blue kyanite for the psychic stimulation neuropathway recalibration. So you can think of the 4 kyanites in the spectrum also making very rapid transfers of this etheric holy grail-like energy throughout the entire field to transfer these programs or codes of wholeness to anybody in proximity radial receptivity. And next to the face of the 4 sides of the pyramid is a combination of jet, which is a black-gray carbon-based stone of purification just like shungite, but more in vogue with ancient druidic usage for transmutation of negativity, particularly concerning the utilization of transmuting black magic. Obviously an semi-outmodeled pattern in this day and age, but still, having the old school black-gray carbon-based purification in tandem with the new school shungite is a very powerful purification ratio throughout the entire matrix of the old and the new coming together with a similar frequency broadcast to make a etheric purification. And these power packs by themselves also have fulgurite, which is petrified lightning, which is carrying the energy of lightning striking sand, which makes a very dramatic light body activation and acceleration of the entire full spectrum of light through the candidate's auric field, as well as an intensification of prayer, for example, and just subtle pranic energy stimulating through the entire heightened energy field to produce more energy, more prana. Then next to that is the legendary Moldavite. Moldavite, of course, does not need much introduction in this video, but is a very prominent green ray stone of mysterious origins that is known as the stone that fell from the sky, or the emerald that fell from the sky, which has grown legendary connotations to the Grail legend. So Moldavite, of course, is a very powerful stone of cosmic attunement of the true higher self matrix that could rapidly dispose of the false self outmodeled patterns of not the highest etheric blueprint. So the idea too, of course, with Moldavite being in this matrix with such a high nourishing intensification is to soothe out all the radical shifts and change to one's highest dharmic blueprint fully manifested in their chakra configuration, and to align one's synchronicity to their true highest spiritual destiny for the incarnation. So hence the utilization of the, once again, jet, fulgurite, and Moldavite on the 4 sides of the pyramid, directly wire wrapped to the underwire to the main focus of this broadcast, really takes the rest of the excess radial healing energy and puts a very sharp divine cosmic focus right through that broadcast point. So you can think of it also as the main focus of the device could be also broadcasted like so. Very intensive, because with that radial focus of this whole entire device has one sharp broadcast projection of a pyramid. So quite powerful in that regard. Okay, that just about concludes the main disc face. I'll go ahead and get into the blade banding around it. So you can think of this as an ignition sequence as it runs a spark like so, completing the circuit all the way in a perfected circle of the ignition sequence of further green ray augmentations. That will, of course, run through the entire radial focus, run through the circuitry, and once again, highlight all the energy right through the sharpness of this clear quartz pyramid to make a very intense, focused broadcast of this intensively, overwhelmingly healing, nourishing green ray construct. So starting right here is tourmalated quartz. This is clear quartz with black tourmaline bolts within the matrix to make another etheric purification to the entire matrix. So quartz, of course, is a neutral embodiment of stimulation that is also consciousness directed. But with the black tourmaline inside the matrix makes a very powerful grounding and purification of all excess negative energies into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. So having that subcapacitation will also accelerate and purify the entire ratio as it completes its vibratory circuit. Starting off right here is the king of the green ray stones, emerald. Emerald is quite the famous stone used in times of antiquity for the purposes of abundance as well as nourishment of the high heart. And so emerald, of course, is a beryl family stone. It's a very powerful green ray stone. It embodies the exact frequency of the perfected green ray heart chakra. So hence that's why I digress and call it the king of the green ray stones, based on its antiquative uses of magic as well as royalty, and for the purpose of being the most powerful abundance spectrum receptivity frequency in the mineral kingdom. Once again, tourmalated quartz into adventuring. Adventuring is a lovely green ray stone that is very useful for any kind of physical vitality, as well as emotional growth and healing of all kinds, as well as confidence in one's heart. A very useful frequency as stone adventures. Even though it was named after Ventura in the 1700s by actually a certain kind of glass being discovered, I like to nerd out, of course, and to say how it's an adventurous stone, because it is a stone of refreshment in a lot of ways too, and a very refreshing, soothing frequency to the heart. Tourmalated quartz once again, then going into prehnite. Prehnite is a very lovely green ray stone of lesser notoriety, which I find kind of criminal for its metaphysical usages. It is also known as a stone that heals the healers. It has a very nourishing, refreshing energy to the entire energy matrix, but predominantly stimulates the third and fourth chakras to align the will and the heart. But also is a very powerful earth and water stone, and a very powerful vibrational broadcast signature frequencies, if you would. Kind of like a higher frequency through the heart and the will to make contact with one's spirit guides and one's higher self and one's spirit team, if you would. Kind of a more advanced concept for true practicing. So prehnite also is, in my opinion, probably the finest analog frequency alignment of the Raphael force, the archangel green ray of healing. So having like that natural analog connection point to the Raphael energy force is very useful and advantageous for any kind of modalities of healing that this wielder will, of course, be up to in the respective service to creation. Tourmalated quartz once again, then moss green agate. Moss green agate, agates in general are the most stabilized variants of vibration in the mineral kingdom. So by having all this really intensively heart activating concept too, it's also to stabilize the green ray right here in the heart, and to be able to stabilize the etheric blueprint or factory settings of the idyllic vibratory configuration, the heart center, to the physical avatar, which is very nourishing and healing and stabilizing at the same time. Then tourmalated quartz, once again, then hematite. Hematite is an iron-based mineral that makes a very strong grounding of all radial stray energies through the base chakra into the earth meridian matrix, which will be very, very useful in the functionality of this very high yield alchemical green ray device of extreme nourishing potency to further ground it into reality to make it real. So then all these frequencies are on one selenite disc right here. So selenite by itself, of course, is known to clear the 6th, 7th, and non-physical chakras to the higher self, the kind of like a doorway or gateway to the higher self consciousness, grounding through the physical, everyday consciousness of the ego-mind identity. But in application of this device, also, of course, selenite is known to clear all densities in the aura field as well. But in application of this device, it will take the entire resonant frequency ignition or output. It will harmonize, purify, and amplify the entire power pack construct seen here. So it makes a very powerful purification, sharpening, acceleration, intensification of this entire nourishing green ray aspect, which is quite lovely and a very advantageous base platform to utilize with such a high yield focused device as alchemy. With a very sharp radial focus of the pyramid, once again, I digress. So it's quite potent in a lot of ways. It's, ooh. And, I zapped myself in the face with the pyramid focus real quick. But it felt great, though. Anyhow, So, in conclusion, this entire frequency output is designed to make a very, very stabilized, powerful, clearing, nourishing, heart healing connotation, which will run the entire nourishing green ray through the entire circulatory system by having the perfected heart spectrum aligned, focused, alchemized into one's truest heart nature, which is obviously very advantageous just for the wielder of this device, but not to mention the auric field frequency this can carry for the transference of this nourishing green ray to all under the jurisdiction of this wielder as they go about their endeavors in service of creation. And to properly contain and sheath such a lovely device, auspiciously I had this in my inventory, which is pretty magical looking, which I'll get into also. So this will actually work as a sheath, if you would, that fits perfectly in there with an adjustable drawstring that can actually be pulled tight, like so. I only have one hand since I'm holding the cell phone for the video, but can be popped open like so, and even placed inside this guy like that, and snap buttoned on. Then can even be tightened to a desirable shape